Iowa Republican voters have made their choice clear for the presidential nominee. They voted resoundingly in favor of Donald Trump at last night's caucuses, launching the former president's march to a rematch with Joe Biden in November. Trump's win left his competitors lagging far behind in the first state-by-state contest where Republican voters select their candidate. Trump thanked his supporters for turning out despite the frigid temperatures and blizzard conditions.
So we're going to put America first. We're going to make America great again. Again, Iowa, we love you. This is the first because the big night is going to be in November when we take back our country.
Trump received 51% of the vote share in his historic victory. He lost the Iowa caucuses back in 2016, but momentum for his comeback campaign has surged this year, even though he faces a litany of legal troubles, including more than 90 felony charges across 4 states. Trump finished far ahead of his rivals. We're still waiting for a final tally, but most polls have reported now. So there's Trump's 51%. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis projected to come in a distant second with roughly 21% of the vote. And DeSantis nearly overtook former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, who's projected to finish third now with around 19% of the vote. This map shows you Trump's sheer dominance in Iowa. He's projected to win 98 out of 99 counties. Nikki Haley set to snag just one, and by 1 vote, merely 1 vote. The state's 40 delegates will be allocated to candidates proportionally based on the final vote count, and they represent about 1.5% of Republican delegates nationwide. So that is what happened last night. Let's look ahead from there with Richard Madden in our bureau in Washington. What a night, really, for Donald Trump. Richard, hard to see how it could have gone any better. How did it all play out?
Yeah, Heather, Trump had a very good night. The results show he remains in full control of the party. And while the blizzard may turn out lower than usual, Trump dominated with more than 50% of the overall vote. But if you dig a little bit deeper, according to those entrance polls, he even gained support with some key Republican constituencies: white evangelicals, suburban voters, rural voters, and those without college degrees. This is a show of strength for the former president, who campaigned not as an incumbent, but as an outsider, and used his growing legal troubles as a rallying cry to solidify his base. But the Iowa results also gave no clear indicator as who emerged as the Trump alternative. You laid those numbers out. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis finished a distant second, slightly ahead of former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley in third. Now, they both vow to stay in the race, arguing almost half the party still wants a Trump alternative, but it's unclear if that constituency is big enough to defeat him. Now, in his victory speech last night, Trump chose not to attack them as he has been. Instead, he promised to unite the party with a subtle message of inevitability that he's on track to win the GOP nomination. Watch this.
I want to congratulate Ron and Nikki for having a good time together. We're all having a good time together. And I think they both actually did very well. I really do. I think they both did very well. We don't even know what the outcome of second place is.
Now, tech entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, who famously predicted there would be a Ramaswamy tsunami, finished fourth. He's dropped out of the race, endorsing Trump. So now there are 3 as we look ahead to next week's contest in New Hampshire.
So let's do that. A very different voter makeup in New Hampshire from Iowa. Can Donald Trump maintain the momentum he's picked up last night?
Yeah, it sure looks like it. As I mentioned, he gained in all these Republican constituencies, and those legal troubles really didn't put a dent in his support. Iowa, no question, gave Trump that momentum. So if he sweeps New Hampshire, prospects for anyone not named Trump is bleak. Now, Haley has strong organization, is within striking distance of Trump there, but she needs a win or a strong second for her campaign to remain viable. DeSantis put all his eggs in the Iowa basket. He doesn't have much ground game in New Hampshire, so he's heading to Haley's home state of South Carolina to build his campaign ahead of its primary next month. Now, both need an upset in the next 2 contests, or it's pretty much game over. Now, as for Trump, fresh off his win in Iowa, he's expected in that Manhattan courtroom, as you noted, for one of his many court cases against him today.
And we're going to go live to New York right now, as a matter of fact. Richard, thank you very much. Richard Madden in Washington.